Greetings, beautiful people. This is SB Favorite Thinking Podcast, and my name is SB Favor. How are you doing today? It is Thursday, December 29th, 2022. Another wonderful day and another day to be thankful. And as I always say, if you focus on what is good, then you can project something good to happen. So make sure you focus on the positive things that build you up. It does not benefit you at all to focus on the negative things. If you are out there traveling about, make sure that you are wearing your mask when you need to, using your hand sanitizer. People are still becoming ill. So please do your part to keep yourself safe and keep your family members safe. If you would like to give to the podcast, you can give at Cash App, $SB Favor. Thank you for your support and your donations. Well, my inspirational quote for today is, how do you stay encouraged? All of us sometimes are exposed to being discouraged. You can be discouraged over anything at any time. Being discouraged is simply a feeling of just feeling downward. But you don't have to be discouraged, because when you feel discouragement, I would suggest you do everything to find joy, do everything to find peace within yourself. Personally, I pray. Earlier this week, I was going through something, and all of a sudden, for some reason, I started feeling discouraged. There was nothing going on that actually made me feel discouraged. I just started feeling discouraged. And of course, discouragement normally comes along with discouraging thoughts. So as I was feeling discouraged, I told myself, no, I'm not going to agree with these feelings, because to me, feelings are like light switches. They turn off and on. So I told myself, I'm going to have a good day. I am going to press forward and do everything I have to do to have a good day. And so I did that. But before I continued my day, I paused and I prayed. And when I started praying, basically, to keep it simple, I basically just asked God to just give me peace and give me joy. And He did. And so the rest of my day was good. But I had to also make sure that I maintained the right thoughts that went along with maintaining peace and joy. And I know sometimes it could be a bit challenging to maintenance your thought life and try to control every thought that comes to your mind, but you can do it. You can do it with the help of God. You can do it if you just consistently examine yourself to know what is going on with you. None of us are exempt from feeling or being discouraged, but you can walk consistently in encouragement. Sometimes you have to call someone and just vent or have a conversation with someone to feel better. Sometimes if you have to journal, that will help as well. It is always important to acknowledge what you feel, but don't stay there. Your feelings are real in terms of you just being human, but you do not have to stay there. You do not have to be subject to discouragement. You must take on an attitude of determination to make sure that you have a good day. You must take on an attitude of determination whenever you feel like there is something that may make you feel discouraged, because you don't have to stay there. So I hope my inspirational quote is giving you something to think about, because I'm telling you, I had to tell myself I don't have to be discouraged. You know, there's a scripture in the Bible that says, the joy of the Lord is my strength. And I truly believe exactly what that says. The joy of the Lord is my strength. So I normally ask God for joy. Joy gives you strength, just as it says. And when you ask God for joy, what happens is you will have the ability to surpass discouragement. So, please do not stay there when you feel like you are discouraged. Like I said, get on the phone, talk to someone, pray, journal, acknowledge your feelings, but don't stay there. You don't have to be subject to discouragement because our feelings are like light switches. They turn off and on. Our feelings, they constantly change. And you don't have to stay there. Don't allow a situation or circumstance to push you to be discouraged. Yes, sometimes, like I said, we are all sometimes challenged with different things in life. But it is your attitude that's going to determine what will happen next within you. So it's important to keep the right thoughts. It's important to have the right conversations. It's important to acknowledge how you feel. It's important to determine what you need to do that's best for you next when you are in the middle of feeling discouraged. Because you don't have to stay there. You don't have to just cave into it. You don't have to do that. You don't have to just look at a circumstance or feel discouraged and just tell yourself, oh, well, woe was me. This is how it is and nothing's going to change. No, you don't have to do that. You can overcome what you feel. You can overcome negative thoughts. Sometimes if we're sitting around thinking negative and we're not careful to pay attention to what thoughts are coming into our minds, what happens is that discouragement can make you sink deeper and deeper and deeper. You don't want to do that because you are here on this earth. You have a lot to be thankful for, and there is always something to smile about. Even when things are not in our favor, we still can smile. We still can be encouraged. So I just want to continue to remind you that you can overcome and not be subject to discouragement. When I'm going about my day, I normally examine myself as much as possible to see where I am in the moment. If I'm happy one moment and then the next moment I'm feeling like, the day is not going well or something might enter my mind. It could be anything. If I get certain types of feelings, I check it. So that's what I'm telling you. Don't allow yourself to be subject to discouragement. We are all human and we have feelings and we have to acknowledge how we feel, but we don't have to be subject to it. We don't have to stay in it. We don't have to cave into it. We don't have to be submerged in discouragement. We don't have to. It's a choice. It's a choice. And when you come in contact with someone that may be discouraged, you can help them. Absolutely, yes. When you come in contact with someone that's discouraged, you can help them. How? By saying something kind, saying something that's positive. Yes. You can do that. You don't have to be subject to the things that make you feel bad. Yes, like I said, you have feelings. We all have feelings, and our feelings are like light switches. But you don't have to be subject to it. You don't have to yield to it. You don't have to cave into it. You don't have to let it become worse by allowing yourself to stay in that space, thinking the same thing, getting the same result. So change your thinking in the process and be careful what you think. Be careful what type of conversations you may have. And the reason why I say be careful with the conversations is because sometimes if you're talking to someone that's not encouraging, if you're talking to someone that's negative, if you're talking to someone that's not building you up, why would you want to have that conversation? So, examine yourself, check yourself in a moment, And be careful with your conversations. Yes, we have to do it. We have to examine ourselves as much as possible. Nobody's not going to do it for you to help you. If you want to live a life of quality with consistent joy, consistent peace, consistent happiness, and I'm not talking about all those things based upon whether something goes right or wrong. I'm talking about just being content within yourself. If you examine yourself daily, pray consistently, and just check out where you are in the moment, you can overcome and not be subject to discouragement. I'm going to tell you, there's so many times in my life when things have gone crazy, circumstances and situations started to happen, and I just could have easily caved in. But I, over and over and over, tell myself, no. If I walk around in discouragement, that's not going to help me. Your feelings is not going to change a situation when it's negative. So if I'm walking around with a bag of negative emotions and negative thoughts that are discouraging, how's that going to help the situation? How is that going to help the next person? If you want to help the next person, how is that going to help you to have a good day? So you have to check yourself. You have to examine yourself to see where you are in the moment. You have to examine yourself and be honest with yourself. Don't think that, oh, well, that's just something that I feel, and I'm just going to ignore it. No, call it what it is. Call it what it is and work through it. Because every time you feel something like that again, you will have the power to deal with it. Because God can help you when you pray the prayer of faith. The joy of the Lord is my strength. Now, for some of you that may not believe in God, I can only encourage you to pray, because personally, it works for me. But like I said, discouragement is something you can overcome. Journaling is always good because you get to sort out your feelings. Praying is always good because it's an exchange. It's an exchange with God. You talk to God, He talks to you. Yes, He talks to you in your spirit because He wants the best for us, and you do not have to be subject to discouragement. So I hope that you got something out of what I am saying in this inspirational quote. I wanted to share this with you because this is what I went through earlier in the week. Discouragement is nothing to play with. This time of the year, during the holidays, a lot of people deal with different types of emotions for many, many, many reasons. And I just want to make sure that you listeners take the time to evaluate what is going on, because you are truly blessed. You are alive. You have your abilities. And because of all of that, you can help somebody else. And so you can overcome discouragement. I thank you so much for taking the time to tune in to SB Favor Thinking Podcast. If you need to reach me, you can reach me at sbfavor@yahoo.com via email. You can also find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at sbfavor. And make sure you subscribe, like, and leave me some feedback here on YouTube. Make sure that you share the podcast with others. And like I said, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm going to be sharing a lot of inspirational content about my personal life and just some things that can help you to just have a great, victorious life journey, because we all need each other. Think about that for a second. We all need each other. We all go through different things. None of us is exempt from going through certain things because life is life, right? So, but I'm here on YouTube, and make sure that you, like I said, subscribe to my channel, click like, And make sure you share the podcast with others. You can also find me on Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. You can listen to me anywhere you listen to podcasts. Listeners, I thank you so much for tuning in. And one more time, I want to remind you, if you would like to give to the podcast, you can give at Cash App, $SB Favor. I thank you so much for your support, your donations, and taking the time to listen to SB Favor Thinking Podcast. Share the podcast with others, and you have a good day.